Get away with murder to supersize your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. It's getting close to Halloween, so I like the fangs and the bloody mouth. And it kind of goes with murder. We think of Count Dracula as murdering a lot of people, right? So get away with murder, our idiom today, it's a relatively new expression. It comes just from the late 20th century. So it hasn't been around but about 100 years that we've been using the expression get away with murder. I always think of the show Murder, She Wrote from when I was growing up that reminded me of getting away with murder. And then there was recently, or it still is, a Netflix special, How to Get Away with Murder, which is about a law professor. It's actually pretty good. I actually watched it last year when I was sick. I watched it during the my flu of the Christmas holiday last year. I spent the whole time laying on the couch, semi in and out of watching How to Get Away with Murder, which was very entertaining. But how to get away with murder, what does it mean, and how could we use it to grow and build and supersize our business? Well, it means, of course, to get away with something bad or wrong or illegal or not quite right, but you get away with it, meaning that you do it but you don't get caught. Or, yeah, you do it but you don't get caught. So the thought is that if you can get away with murder, literally murder, probably the most heinous thing on the planet, you can get away with just about anything. Now, there are businesses that run this way. There are businesses that are based on unethical, illegal, immoral foundations and beliefs and systems, and they have legal protection under our legislature. I've obviously been watching documentaries lately, and I've gotten really frustrated with the things that we don't know. There's so many things that we don't know as ordinary citizens that are just so wrong. And then there's other things that we've actually personally experienced in business and in life that we know go on, but we have very little, if any, ability to affect and change and control those things. And so we follow rules, we follow guidelines, yet we watch other people and other organizations break those rules, not follow them, and just get away with it with no punishment and no being held accountable and responsible. The truth is, in the short term, people can get away with things, can get away with murder, literally and figuratively. They can get away with doing things wrong and unethically and immorally and not be judged in the short term. But in the long term, the truth will out. I think that's from Harry Potter. The truth always comes out. And maybe in the short term, people get away with it, but in the long term, everyone is 100% accountable and responsible for everything they do and say. And even if we don't see them being judged for that or being held accountable and responsible, ultimately, every human being is held accountable and responsible for the things that they do while here on the planet. And depending on what you believe, how they're held accountable and responsible is going to be different for based on your long-term beliefs. But I had some cardiac arrest 10 years ago and spent a little time on the other side. And so I have very firm beliefs that it's not for me to judge, and it doesn't mean I won't get involved and I won't voice my opinion about things that I know are wrong, but it's not for me to judge other people's opinions, other people's point of view, other people's business decisions, other people's way of doing things. But it is up to me 100% to do what I know is right for me and my business and my company and my people. So we do what's right, whether somebody's watching or not. A long time ago when I was a little girl, I observed that some kids could get away with anything in school, and others of us, if we tried anything, we would get in trouble. I remember sneaking in from the bath to go to the bathroom in about third grade recess, and I didn't ask the teacher, but I had to go to the bathroom really bad, so I snuck in, and of course I got busted and in trouble and had to go to the principal's office because I didn't ask permission to come into the school to go to the bathroom. So I learned at a very young age that it wasn't worth it to do something without following the rules. Now, ever since then, I've of course learned to ask for permission or ask for forgiveness rather than permission later on in terms of growing and building and creating things that I want to see created in life. Because a lot of times bureaucracies and things will say no when that's how we get breakthrough. So kind of be on both sides of the coin on this one. But I learned at a young age that you just do what's right. If you do what's right for you and what feels good to you, you're very seldom going to get in big trouble. And know that you're always responsible. Even if you get away with murder, even if you get away with something, if you were to chew gum in school or cheat on a test and you got away with it and you didn't get caught, you still know that you did that. You still know inside that you did something that was against the rules or wrong or that you could have gotten caught for. Anybody ever speed? Anybody ever? I haven't driven for a couple of years, but I will admit I was a speed demon because I felt like it was a rule that depended on your ability to drive, your safety, the conditions of the weather and things, and sometimes how late I was to where I was supposed to be. But I got caught sometimes, right? I got speeding tickets, not very many, but I got a couple, and I learned that maybe it wasn't worth it. But I also got to decide personally whether I thought it was a big or soul damaging infraction to speed or not. But we need to follow the rules, the laws, especially driving laws, right? Because if everybody was to just do whatever they want, it wouldn't be safe. We'd be in accidents. People would be getting killed, and that would be wrong. So I know inside, whether I got caught or not, that I had broken the law, that I've speeded before in my life. And it's up to me to have to live with that. And it's up to me to have to deal with that and account for that and be responsible for that. If I speed and I get a ticket, I pay the ticket because I was responsible for speeding. My last speeding ticket, this is funny. I actually had never driven my sister's BMW. She had a little BMW convertible. And we had just gotten back from the cabin, and she's like, oh, I need gas, but we're going to have a barbecue. Will you run and fill my car with gas? So I went and filled her car with gas, driving down a road I've grown up on, 50-some years at that point. I had lived in this town, and they had changed the speed limit on the road, but there wasn't a sign on the end of the road that I turned on. I went out of her driveway, turned right, and there wasn't a speed limit sign there. So lo and behold, down the end of the road, I'm going 35, 40 miles an hour, and the speed limit had been dropped to 25 because it was a more congested area than it used to be. And I didn't know, so boom, I got a ticket. I paid the ticket. No big deal. I was speeding, even though I wasn't aware of it. So we have to act as if somebody's always watching. Heck, nowadays, anybody could be at any time watching and see us behaving in a certain way. But we don't do it because of that. We do it because even if nobody's watching and even if we don't get caught, we always know on the inside how we're behaving and how we're being. And we can fool other people some of the time. Heck, there's some people you can fool all the time, but we can never really fool ourselves. So make sure that your customer's experience is what they expect. Make sure that you're not getting away with murder or getting away with anything at the expense of your customer, and that will help you grow and supersize your business. So our idiom today, love to know your experience with getting away with things or other people getting away with things. It's in corporate America, you just shake your head sometimes because some people can get away with things that you would not even believe, and others get caught every time. So have an absolutely amazing, fantastic day, and I will be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? Weapon-free. I will have my magnifying glass, but I will be weapon-free tomorrow. That's it. Have a great day.